Jungkook's phone buzzed innocently as he walked out of the office, rain drenching his shoulders while he searched for his keys in the dark. Wine's phone had been left at his place by accident. She always forgot things like that. Her phone, her glasses, sometimes even her charger. He always teased her about it. But this time, he wished she hadn't forgotten. Rave. Last night was perfect. I still can't believe it happened. Let's meet again soon. The words stabbed him. The kiss emoji felt like betrayal, smeared across the screen. Jungkook stood frozen under the flickering parking lot light, water streaming from his hair. A part of him told him to stop, ask why, but the darker part, the insecure part, that wondered if he was enough, whispered, "She lied. Wine lied to me." She had said she was at home with her cousin, watching old movies, eating popcorn. She even sent a sleepy voice note before bed yesterday. But that message said otherwise. That message screamed something happened last night, something intimate, and it broke him in pieces he didn't know existed. Jungkook didn't even need a full minute to jump into the worst conclusion. That name, Ray, wasn't new to him. He remembered it from her stories. Someone from her college, a guy she used to be close with, a guy she never mentioned anymore. His throat burned, his chest tightened, and all he could hear in his head was she cheated. She cheated. He had been working late shift for weeks, missing calls, cancelling dinners, not noticing when she looked distant or tired. Maybe I gave her space more than she needed. Maybe too much space. But last night she told me she was staying in with her cousin. Was that a lie? Jungkook didn't wait. He drove through the storm like a madman, windshield wipers no match for the blur of rage and heartbreak in his chest. Every second, his mind played loops of worst-case scenarios. Wine laughing in someone else's arms, Wine whispering to another man the same sweet things she once told him. When Wine opened the door, she was barefoot, smiling, wrapped in a giant hoodie. Her hair was tied in a messy bun, glasses sliding down her nose. She looked normal, but his eyes were far from calm. "Jungkook?" she blinked, startled. "You didn't test you were coming. What is..." He showed the phone toward her. "Explain this," he said, voice flat. Wine blinked down at the screen. "Wait, that's my phone. Where did you... You left it? I found it. And this?" He pointed at the message. "This was a little surprise I got." Wine went still. "That's not..." she swallowed. "That's not meant for me." He scoffed bitterly. "That's the best you have got?" "Let me explain," she said, voice raising. "Explain what? That you lied about being home with your cousin and instead spent the night with him?" He hissed. "Rave, you never even mentioned he was still in your life. Wasn't he your best friend at college?" "He isn't mine." He snapped, hurt flashing in her eyes. "That message is for Dia. She borrowed my phone. Her phone died last night." "You expect me to believe that? That this random guy who happens to be your old best friend sends a message about last night being perfect and you just hand wave it away like it was someone else's conversation?" Her hands trembled as she ran a hand through his hair. "Jungkook, look at me, please. That's not my conversation. Dia and Rave have been sneaking around. Her parents don't approve of him. She begged me not to tell anyone. That's why I said I was with her last night." She stepped closer, eyes shining. "I was just covering for her, that's it. I didn't lie to hurt you. I was protecting her secret." But Jungkook's silence hurt more than any scream. His jaw was clenched, his fists at his sides. You lied to me. I didn't cheat on you, she whispered. But you lied. The air between them turned sharp. So, what now? She said softly, folding her arms. You think I'm just some girl who sneaks around behind your back? I don't know what to think anymore, he muttered. Mine flinched. Have stood by you, Jungkook, through your long hours, through your short tempers, through your silence when you're upset and won't say why. I never asked you to. He snapped. That did it. She stepped back, visibly shaken. Her throat bobbed as she blinked away tears. I chose to, she said, voice breaking. Because I love you. Because you matter. Her voice cracked. But maybe I made a mistake. His head jerked up. What's that supposed to mean? It means if this is what we are now, suspicion and silence and half-truths, and then maybe we are not really us anymore. No, don't do this, he said, stop forward. She shook her head, tears finally spilling. You know what hurts more than you thinking I cheated? She whispered. The fact that you believed I could. She grabbed his hand, pressed it to her chest. You know me, you know this heart. And yet, in 1 second, you threw all of it away. He stood there, looking at her fire, right in front of him. He didn't move, didn't speak, so she let go of his hand. Walked past him and said, I think you should go. He didn't sleep that night. Every minute was a torture. Her face, her tears, the way her voice shook when she said, You believed I could hurt you. He stared at her number on his screen. The call button blurred from the tears he refused to let fall. Wine was right. He didn't know her. He knew her heart. But he had let his fear override everything they built. And now he might have lost her. It had been 4 days, 4 long aching days since Jungkook saw her last. She hadn't replied to his last message, a single one-liner text sent at 2:04 a.m. I miss you even when I know I don't know what to do. No reply. He had driven past her lane once, maybe twice, okay, 3 times, but he didn't stop because maybe she didn't want him to anymore. He kept replying that night. In his mind, her tears, her voice cracking, her asking, You really thought I could do that to you? He could hear it in his dreams. That afternoon, Jungkook stopped by a bookstore on his way home, his mind heavy, his heart loose. And there she was, Dia, sitting by the cafe corner of the shop, sipping iced coffee, her phone propped up against a paper bag. She looked up and when their eyes met, her smile flattered. Jungkook? She said, blinking in surprise. He forced a polite nod. Hey. She tilted her head. Everything okay? You should ask your cousin that. He gave a sniff, shrug. Wait, is this about what happened with Wine? Dia frowned. He didn't say anything. That silence? That was his answer. You think Wine did something wrong? Her brows furrowed. He looked away. His voice was bitter. I don't think we need to talk about it. No, I think we do, she said, standing now. Because I borrowed her phone that night. I was texting Rare. I sent that message. Jungkook froze. Wait, what? He blinked. Dia crossed her arms, irritated now. I didn't have my phone. Wine told me not to use hers, but I begged. She was uncomfortable the whole time. She even asked me to delete the messages, so you wouldn't misunderstand. He stared at her, mouth open. And I didn't delete them as I forgot about it later. That message, it was mine, not hers. She added quietly. His breath hitched. The world around him felt like wind mute. No noise, just the pounding of his guilt. You are saying he saw loud voice shaking. She told me the truth. Dia's eyes softened. You didn't believe her? He couldn't even answer, couldn't speak. He had accused Vine, his Vine, of betrayal. And when all she had done was protecting her cousin's secret, he felt like he couldn't breathe. His legs moved before his mind did. He ran into the parking lot, into his car. The rain started again, just like that night. But this time, it wasn't the storm outside that terrified him. It was the storm he left inside her. Vine was curled up on her couch, a blanket wrapped around her knees, watching an old rom-com with dead eyes. Every now and then, she had paused the movie like her brain couldn't handle happy endings anymore. Her phone buzzed and buzzed again. Jungkook calling. She stared at the screen. Then a knock, loud, urgent. It kept coming. She stared at the screen. Then a knock, loud. She stood, heart racing, and opened the door. He was there, soaked in rain, hair dripping, chest heaving like he had sprinted through the city. He looked breathless, desperate, undone. Why? He gasped. I'm sorry, I was wrong. She blinked in stunned silence. I saw Dia just now. She told me everything. His voice cracked. You were telling the truth. You were always telling the truth. He stepped forward, not even wiping the rain from his face. And I didn't listen. I chose not to trust you. And that's on me. That's not your fault. She looked at him, pain seeming in her eyes. You broke me, Jungkook, she whispered. I know, he choked out, and I will carry that with me forever. But please, don't let that be the last thing I do to you. He dropped to his knees right there in the doorway, in the rain. I should have fought for you. I should have known better. I let fear take the wheel when it should have been faith. She stood frozen, shaking, silent tears rolling down her cheek. Please, I'm not asking you to forgive me today or tomorrow. I'm just begging for the chance to keep trying. Silence, the sound of rain. Her voice came low and soft. Why now? He stood slowly. Because knowing you loved me and I still didn't believe you, that's worse than anything else in the world. And finally she stepped into his arms, not out of full forgiveness, not out of full forgetting, but because deep down in the rawest part of her soul, she knew this was love, not the fairy kind, the real kind, the messy, wounded, trying again kind. And in that moment, soaking wet, heartbroken, and holding each other, they tried to start over, not from scratch, but from truth. The apology was only the beginning. After that morning, Wine didn't test him, didn't block him either. She needed space to feel again, to think clearly. But Jungkook, he didn't sit back and wait. He started showing up, not unannounced, but in thoughtful, silent ways. The first was a letter slipped under her door, written in his messy, stubborn handwriting. I know your favorite color isn't violet, it's purple, because you said violet is too loud and purple is soft like quiet sunset. I know you sleep on the left side, but always put your pillow on the right, because that's the side you used to dream of me sleeping next to. I see you, why? I always have. I just forgot for a moment, and I'm trying to remember every part of you again. She cried reading it and didn't text him back. The next day, a tiny plant showed up outside her door. It had a knot tied to the stem. For the time, I doubted your roots. I will water this every day like I should have done with us. On day 3, after clearing up the air, he finally called her just once. She stared at the phone for a full minute before answering. Hi, he breathed. Hi, she said quietly. Silence. Then she whispered, You sent me a plant? It's something that lives, to remind you that we are still alive, that we can come back stronger. Her voice was soft. I haven't stopped loving you, Jungkook. He let out a shaky breath. That means everything. But I'm scared. I am too, he said. But I would rather be scared with you than safe without you. That evening they met. Not at his place, not at hers, at the park bench where they had their first date. She arrived in a pale blue dress, hair loose, face bare. He stood up the moment he saw her. "You look like peace," he whispered. She smiled a little. "I don't feel like it." They sat, quiet, breathing. Then finally, "I almost left," she said. "I was this close. I had my bags packed. I haven't cried in the Uber app." He looked down. "I deserved that. I couldn't press confirm," she whispered, "because even after all of it, I still hoped you would believe me." "I broke your hope," he said, the girl thinking his chest. "No," she said gently. "You shook it, but you didn't break it." He looked at her, eyes glassy. "Why? If you ever doubt that I will love you again, I want you to remember this." He took something from his pocket. Her broken keychain, the one that snapped off his car keys last month, the one she thought he threw away. He had glued it back together, each fragile piece. "I want us to be like this," he said, "not perfect, not untouched, but held together because we matter." Tears welled in her eyes. "Can I hold your hand?" he asked. She nodded. He slipped his fingers into hers. They fit like they always had. Later that night, her apartment. They didn't kiss, not yet, but they sat on the couch wrapped in one blanket as he asked, "What do I do when we are mad next time?" She chuckled through tears. "Don't run, don't assume, just ask." "Deal," he said. "And if you ever leave your phone again, I will lock it in the drawer and pretend it doesn't exist." She laughed. Then she got quiet. "Jungkook, yeah? What made you think I could hurt you like that?" His smile faded. He looked away. "I think I always been afraid of being replaceable," he admitted. "You are this light, this person people remember, and me, I'm just me." Her face fell. "Do you know what I saw when I first met you?" she asked. He shook his head. "I saw a man who didn't need to be loved to be strong, who made me feel like maybe I wasn't too much, who looked at me like I was art, not noise." He turned toward her. "I never wanted anyone else, not even for a second," she whispered. He pulled her into his chest, kissing her hair. "I love you," he murmured. "I'm sorry for everything, and this time I'm gonna love you louder."